seem a bit nervous.
Everything fine.
Everything's fine?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're just going to have a look today, okay?
Okay.
Any cash to the value of $10,000? Yes or no?
No.
Look, stop looking. You need to talk to me, okay?
Okay.
No cash?
No.
No? How much cash have you got?
$5.
$5. Well, that's not very much.
At Sydney Airport, Australian Border Force officers have pulled aside an Australian citizen returning from a 4-day trip to Vietnam.
Okay, I'm going to have a look through all your bags, okay?
Of course.
Okay? Alright.
His passport indicates that this is his 3rd trip out of the country in only 4 weeks.
When was the last time you travelled to Vietnam?
10 days ago.
10 days ago. What did you go for?
Because my mom now have to operation the eyes.
Okay?
Yes.
10 days ago. And you went back now for what?
My mom have to operation the eyes.
Yeah, but she had that last time you were there.
This trip, this one.
What did you do there?
Same, everything same.
Same as what? Your mum?
Yeah, 100%.
The man explains that he works as an apprentice chef in Sydney. But for officers, this only raises further questions about how he affords his unusually frequent trips to Vietnam.
How do you pay for your trip? You're a cook, yeah?
Yes.
How much money do they pay you?
The money, my salary.
Yes. Yes. Your salary?
Yes.
What is it? $1,000? $1? What do you get paid? You know what I'm asking you? Yes.
So I have to answer you the money.
I asked you, yeah?
Biosecurity officers are x-raying the luggage of travellers arriving from Kuala Lumpur. And Officer Andrea believes she may have identified organic material in this woman's bag.
It looks a bit interesting, so I'm just going to have a better look at it. I'm just going to go over and have a chat to her now.
With the help of a translation booklet, it is confirmed that the woman is not declaring anything.
No? Okay, can you open, okay? Okay, you have food. Bring this one here. Food. Sugar. This one, sugar.
And it's not just food that the woman has failed to declare.
Oh, hang on. Oh, nice little gift. Look at this.
It appears there may be undeclared items stashed throughout the woman's luggage, so Officer Andrea will need to conduct a thorough search.
What's in here? What is it? What is this? Okay, it looks like a bone or some sort of a material. I'm going to have to get someone to interpret because I'm really not sure what this is. It could be a skeleton or it could be fossil, I'm not sure. I have no idea what that is.
This young American, returning from a quick 2-day trip to New Zealand, has already been questioned at the primary line, and officers want to speak to him further as they have concerns he may be intending to breach his visa conditions.
Initial conversation with him, he stated that he's undertaken work on a farmer's market. He says he's a Mexican chef. He talks about having a girlfriend in Australia. He claims that she's an Australian citizen, so we'll need to get her details and verify that. We have to establish a relationship, how long it's been, where it's going, and basically if there's any other factors we need to consider.
So you know that you're currently here on a tourist visa, and from my understanding, you went across to New Zealand 2 days ago and have come back into Australia on that same tourist visa. Is that correct?
I reapplied for a new one, so that's why I went to New Zealand and reapplied for ETA, and it went through, confirmed, and I came back today.
Yeah. How long were you planning on staying in Australia this time?
3 months.
Having already spent an extended period of time in Australia on his previous visit, officers want to know why he has returned.
I understand that you have a girlfriend named Georgia, is that correct?
Yes.
And she's an Australian citizen?
Yes.
How long have you been in the relationship for?
2 years.
2 years. So
Yeah.
you've been a couple for 2 years?
Yeah.
And how did you meet?
Through the internet.
Okay.
Even though the young couple has been in contact online for 2 years, they've only physically been together since he arrived in Australia a few months ago.
We just kept talking. It just clicked. Like, I really enjoy being with her. So now I'm here I moved here just to try to be with her.
What were your intentions when you returned to the US after these 3 months? Or were you ever intending to leave?
How do you pay for your trip? You cook, yeah?
Yes.
How much money do they pay you?
Australian Border Force officers are trying to find out how this apprentice chef could afford 3 trips to Vietnam in the last 4 weeks. But he's not being cooperative.
You don't want to answer that? You don't?
No.
Okay, why?
It's mine.
Sure.
What also strikes officers as a little odd is that his bag contains very little clothing.
What is in here?
But he does have a bubble-wrapped handbag and a box full of what he says are plastic rubbish bags.
Okay. Something in here? Seem to be getting agitated.
If something here, can you hear me?
No, I don't do that.
No.
Police does that.
No.
To be sure the man is not attempting to smuggle contraband into the country, some of his goods are taken to be x-rayed and a swab test is carried out on the handbag to check for any traces of narcotics, as the passenger suddenly becomes very anxious to leave the airport.
Who is the manager here now? If I lose this one, who pay the money for me for next birth?
Sorry?
I pay the money. Who pay the money for me
You.
for next birth? Why is it me?
Because this is part of travelling through an airport. It's clearing customs and quarantine. It's part of it. That's what happens when you come from another country to Australia.
Border Force officers are sure the man is up to something and are determined to get to the bottom of it.
You have 2 pairs of clothes. You have 1 box that weighs a fair bit full of shopping bags, and that's about it. Does it make sense?
The result of this test may give them some indication of what's going on.
What is this? Okay, we're going to have to get someone to interpret because I don't understand what you're saying to me. I have no idea what that is.
In Sydney, biosecurity officers have discovered some unusual items in a small box owned by a woman travelling from Kuala Lumpur.
Do you know what that is? Have you seen those before? Is it like a stone, a rock? She's trying to tell me.
Officer Kathy is brought in to help with translation.
What is that? Bone of what?
什么骨头？猪骨头。pork pig。
Why she got it?
为什么你能带那个猪的骨头过来呢？
因为它是不是的？因为我这个呢是我做法事用的，我是道教的。
Okay, she's doing voodoo.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. I'm actually freaked out because I've never ever come across anything like this before. So, I mean, it's everyone's belief to do whatever they like to do, that's all right. So we'll just go through the bags and see what else we're going to find. So all these we've involved with the black magic, all this container here, tape measure, it's in the voodoo box. She said she's got no more bones, but given what she does, I think we should be looking at everything. Finding any more? Does she have any more bones? No bones or anything? Hang on. What is that? Let's have a look.
After 2 years of chatting online to his Australian girlfriend Georgia, this 24-year-old American named Caleb has followed his heart all the way to Newcastle.
Georgia is very quiet, just very nice, really loyal. I mean, it's love, everything.
But love may be blind when it comes to immigration law. It appears that Caleb may have breached his tourist visa conditions by working while on his previous visit to Australia.
You stated to our primary line officer that you've actually been working in Australia. Tell me a bit about that.
I work as a cook once a week at the Newcastle markets. It's just cash in hand. I've been working with food all my life. I like making food. It's an art. I like making art.
Do you realise that you're on a tourist visa and that working is a breach of visa conditions? Like, were you aware of that?
Not cash in hand.
Cash in hand is work. Work is work. It appears at this point that you have breached your visa condition in working.
With that admission, this young man may be headed for heartbreak.
I mean, I can bust out in tears, but I'm trying to hold back.
Australian Border Force officers suspect this apprentice chef may be funding his unusually frequent trips to Vietnam by some sort of questionable activity.
You have 2 pairs of clothes, you have 1 box full of shopping bags, and that's about it. Doesn't make sense.
His box, which is full of plastic bags, has been x-rayed, and a swab test of a handbag he is also travelling with is being analysed. However, both fail to find any traces of illegal substances. But then Officer Alicia finds an item in the man's bag that may give an indication of what he's up to.
What's this for?
This one my father want to buy for him.
Oh, you claim TRS?
Yes,
When did you do that?
the last time.
So only 10 days ago?
The tourist refund scheme allows travellers who are departing Australia to claim back the GST on goods they've purchased while they were here. However, it's a stipulation that these goods cannot be brought back into the country within 12 months.
But you claim the tax back? And you didn't declare it on your way back in? Yes?
Huh?
You claim the tax back? Yes?
Yes.
And now you still have the watch? That's $16,000. Rolex. More than 900, yeah? Yeah.
Under the TRS, any goods valued at over $900 that are brought back into the country within the 12 months need to be declared, as the GST refund must be repaid.
So what happened now?
But you have to pay the tax back. You have to pay back what you were refunded. Or I'll hold the watch until you do. Okay, because that's tax fraud.
And it looks as if the watch may only be a small part of a very lucrative scam.
What are all those receipts for? CRS?
Yes.
CRS, all those receipts?
Yes.
Really? How much did that cost?
It's not many.
Not many. Really?
It appears the man has purchased thousands of dollars worth of jewellery.
Like this.
And officers suspect he may be committing major tax fraud.
$53,000.
Yes.
That's a bit freakish.
Okay, so that's a pork bone.
Black magic?
Yeah.
In Sydney, biosecurity officers are continuing to find some very unusual items in the luggage of a woman who claims to practice voodoo.
Socks.
Oh, it's money.
It's money? Okay. I think it's got something to do with what she practices.
The money is not of a biosecurity concern, and luckily for the passenger, neither is her undeclared animal bones.
They're about 5 and 6 years old.
Wow, okay. Yeah, they look very clean, so there's no problem.
She used them as part of her voodoo.
The woman will be allowed to keep her precious charms, but Officer Andrea is feeling a little uneasy.
I just want to know, since I touched those bones, is there anything going to happen to me? Am I cursed or anything? 没有？
因为那个得要有
Is it what she wears?
这个帽子。
Is it, what is that? What does she do with that?
That's the whole
That's what I
voodoo
thought.
that she has to
Okay,
put it
all right, on.
Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
So is she here to work or is she on a holiday?
She's here to visit her daughter.
我女儿
That's her early passport.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you. Very pretty.
The woman decides not to pay the duty on the cigarettes, so they are confiscated. But she is able to keep her mushrooms.
Look, I'm not issuing her any queen or anything today. Just let her know that in the future she has to get a card because it's only
The woman is given a written warning and she is free to go.
That's probably one of my most interesting inspections I've ever come across. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm not cursed. Really relieved.
How long more?
Don't know.
Australian Border Force officers have discovered over 80 receipts belonging to this passenger for purchases of Pandora jewellery, sometimes buying hundreds of charms at a time.
$7,300.
He spent a total of $53,000 before leaving for Vietnam 4 days ago. On his way out, he claimed back thousands of dollars in GST on the goods under the tourist refund scheme.
Your business, yeah?
Not it's business.
You're making money from it. Yeah? You are? Yes?
No, I know it's not business. It's not business. It's not my business.
Whose business?
I just kept my friend or my friend.
Ah, for your friend. He gave you all that money, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah? But it goes into your bank account.
Under the scheme, the GST exemption only applies if you do not bring the goods back into Australia within 12 months. Officers have already discovered a $16,000 Rolex that he'll need to repay the GST on. And if he's also found to be carrying the Pandora jewellery, the repayable tax will amount to thousands more.
Where are all the Pandoras? Where are all these? Yeah? Where are they? Where are the Pandora?
The Pandora is going to Vietnam.
All gone?
Yeah.
Despite his denials, Officer Alicia then begins to find pieces of Pandora jewellery in his luggage.
Another one. What else will I find? Oh? No. I don't quite believe you.
After travelling to New Zealand to renew his tourist visa, a young American named Caleb is hoping to be reunited with his Australian girlfriend, Georgia.
She's a loyal girl. Like, she's a good person, good soul, good spirit. Just like me.
But he has admitted to working illegally on his previous visit. And now, officers must base their decision on the facts of his case.
The thing is, he doesn't have a lot of money to support himself for this 3-month stay. He only came with 90 Australian dollars today. Yes, and that's one issue that I have.
Well, there is a clear breach.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
He did undertake work and he did receive remuneration for that work. And it's actually his intention to continue to do so on his entry today.
Exactly. Okay, Caleb. After weighing up all of the information available to me, I was satisfied that the grounds for cancelling your visa outweighed the reasons for not cancelling. Your visa has now been cancelled. You are now refused immigration clearance. You are also now being detained and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
This apprentice chef left Australia 4 days ago with $53,000 worth of jewellery and claimed a GST refund on the goods under the tourist refund scheme.
He's saying that he received a refund of $4,000 last time he travelled.
He's travelled 3 times.
Yeah, in a month.
He has claimed over $10,000 back in GST in only 3 trips to Vietnam. And while a thorough search of his luggage has only uncovered 2 small pieces of Pandora jewellery, there is still the matter of the $16,000 Rolex watch that he must repay the tax on.
What happened now?
Patient. We are not finished. Okay?
15 minutes more, if you don't finish me, I call a lawyer come with me. That's it.
Sorry?
I will call a lawyer come.
Despite his agitation, the watch cannot leave the airport until the man repays the $1,600 tax.
That's what you have to pay now, or I'll put the Rolex on the form. It's up to you, until you can pay it.
I don't have money. I don't have money.
Okay, I'll put it on the form. You can come back and pay the money. You have money or not?
I don't have money. I only $5 here.
Excuse me.
Only $5 here. Where am money? Pay for this one now.
You have a card. Your bank card.
Do you have money on the card?
I don't have money.
Unable to pay the $1,600, the watch will be held at the airport for 30 days or until he returns with the funds. After that, it is placed in a long-term storage facility.
Everything else here is yours. You're free to pack up. You're free to leave now, sir.
Runway 34 left to clear flight.
C'hai il telefonino? Il telefono?
Australian Border Force officers in Sydney have stopped this Italian man for a baggage search after his irregular travel movements caught their attention.
Italian passenger coming from Peru today. He's transited through the United States, which is a strange travel route for an Italian passenger.
His large suitcase has been emptied, and what strikes officers as odd is that even though the bag appeared to be full when opened, once unpacked, it actually contains a very small amount of clothing.
Considering the amount of clothes, it shouldn't actually fill the suitcase. So there may be some abnormalities with the suitcase.
It is taken to a secure examination room for further inspection, as the man insists he is simply here for a holiday.
Il problema alla valigia? Non so, c'è qualcosa che mi vuoi dire? Mi vuoi dire il collega?
Cosa devo dire? Non c'ho niente da... No, io non so niente, io sono venuto qua per trovare amici, diciamo, perché hanno tanti italiani, ristoranti italiani, sono venuto così a vedere. E poi mi occupo di trasporti in Italia anche, sono, non dico un direttore, però è uno che... dirigente. C'ho anche il bigliettino da visita e tutto. Non ho mai avuto a che fare con droghe, tutto, con porcherie, potete chiamare anche in Italia, non c'è nessun problema.
But in the examination room, Border Force Officer Kathy spots what potentially could be a major problem for this passenger.
So if you look over this side here, it's all very smooth and the lining is very consistent. But if you look on this side here, you can see that there's possible indications that there could be glue, which means that the bag's been tampered with.
A young Malaysian woman has just arrived off a flight from New Zealand. She says she's a backpacker and here for a short holiday, but officers suspect otherwise.
We pulled her aside to have a talk with her because she has had a working holiday visa in New Zealand, but that's expired. So we're wondering why she's come to Australia, if she's expecting to work in Australia or if she really is on a holiday.
If the passenger is intending to work, it would be in breach of the conditions of her tourist visa. And she may be denied entry into Australia and returned home.
So how long are you planning to be in Australia for?
About 2 months, because visitor visa only can be 2 months.
So do you have any plans for tourism in Australia?
Yeah.
Tell me your plans.
Want to walk around Sydney, want to familiar with Sydney.
Anything in particular you want to see in Sydney?
Harbour Pier,
Harbour Pier, is it?
Pier, sorry.
Okay.
Pier, the island nearby.
Which island is that?
The name, the retreat.
The woman seems quite vague about the details of her holiday plans, which only makes Officer Laura more suspicious that she is here to work illegally.
Okay, so I have concerns about your visit to Australia. So I'm going to go and talk with my supervisor about that, okay?
Anything to declare?
When arriving at Australia's border, travellers who fail to declare any prohibited items that they may be carrying risk exposing our unique environment to serious harm.
It has different types of bugs in it, therefore we have to seize it and destroy it.
For this reason, biosecurity officers x-ray incoming luggage, and if inconsistencies show up, passengers, such as this woman arriving from China, are sent for a bag search.
Denise, this lady's declaring tea and Chinese herbal medicine, but it's tablets only.
However, the x-ray suggests she's carrying a lot more than tablets, and Officer Denise immediately locates a large amount of organic material, including bark.
Anything that's woody or barky you can't have.
Bark is used in traditional Chinese medicine as a treatment for various ailments, such as back pain, headaches and bloating. But it's a prohibited import into Australia.
Anything that contains bark or has bark still on it, underneath that bark you can get a selection of bacteria and viruses that we perhaps don't have here.
Although the woman may have indicated that she has Chinese medicine, this next remedy is certainly not in tablet form.
They look like dried scorpions. There's a sting in the tail. This is not good.
Chinese culture has used scorpions for centuries to help expel toxins and wind from the body. But it's most commonly found in powder form.
I've worked here for 10 years and this is not a common Chinese medicine. You would have known what you were getting.
Officer Denise calls her supervisor after finding scorpions declared as herbal medicine in this passenger's bag.
That's really, that's very uncommon.
Not allowed in.
This is herbal tea for the traditional Chinese medicine. It contains this one and even some...
Regardless of their intended use, the scorpions could harbour high-risk bacteria or viruses. And just when Officer Denise thought she'd seen the worst of it, she makes another unusual discovery. Australian Border Force officers have taken a suitcase to a secure examination room, as they suspect it may have been tampered with. But the Italian owner insists it is brand new.
Comincia a intuire qualcosa, comincia a intuire. Io queste cose non ne so niente, non ho mai avuto a che fare con sta merda, con sta porcheria.
Tu hai detto prima c'è la legge pure della Felicia, no?
Di questa che è arrivata?
Sì.
Siccome l'hanno cambiata, è uguale, sembra che, boh, non lo so. Oh, magenta.
So that's a receipt?
Yes.
As the man provides proof that he bought the case himself before leaving Italy, Supervising Officer Jason is updated in the examination room.
All he pretty much said was he bought the bag about 22 days ago. Yep. He has a receipt for it in his bag. Okay. I said, are you carrying any drugs? And he says, absolutely not. Never. I've never touched drugs in my life. Okay. The last question I gave him was, do you need to tell me something now? Okay, there's pretty much a last chance. You've got something to tell me. Yep. And it was this thing, no.
Okay.
I've got nothing to...
He's not admitting to anything?
No.
Denies anything?
Denies everything. Okay. Knows nothing. He's done nothing wrong. He's only here to see friends.
Okay. And the bag was bought in Italy?
22 days ago.
Okay. No
before he started his trip.
Despite the passenger's denials, Border Force Officer Kathy is confident there is something concealed in the lining of his case.
And if you run your finger along this side here, you can feel that there's a package or a concealment of some kind of something in this area and here as well and here. So we'll do an iron scan and we'll see what that comes up for us.
A swab is taken. While back at the bench, the passenger is showing little sign of nerves. But officers strongly suspect this is just a front and that he is attempting to smuggle in his suitcase. This test result will indicate if their suspicions are justified. In Sydney, Biosecurity Officer Denise has major concerns after locating a number of prohibited items that this woman is bringing back with her from China, including bark and dried scorpions.
I've worked here for 10 years and this is not a common Chinese medicine.
And further searching uncovers even more insects.
They're cicadas. Yes, cicada.
In Chinese culture, the outer shell of the cicada is believed to have medicinal properties which include dispelling heat and wind from the body. But like the scorpions, they are an insect and could carry harmful bacteria and viruses.
You can't bring in this type of thing into Australia without declaring it. Well, A, you can't bring it in at all, and the fact that we only discovered it because we were looking through does not augur well for you. How often have you been to Australia? Do you live here?
Yeah, I live here.
You live here?
The prohibited items are seized and will be destroyed.
You have to be very aware now, if you live here, you can do a lot of damage to our agriculture by bringing in certain items.
Officer Denise's warning should guarantee the woman will not offend again.
You can't bring in any type of dead animal. You just don't bring it in, alrighty? She did tick question 7. Question 7 has traditional medicines. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she perhaps didn't tell the whole story to the officer that was starting to x-ray her. She's very lucky to have gotten away with a written warning, with a caution today. Okay, thank you.
This Malaysian woman is struggling to convince Australian Border Force officers that she is a genuine tourist.
When I asked her about tourism, she said that she wanted to walk around Sydney and see Harbour Pier. So she couldn't really get it right. She didn't really know what she's here to see.
And Supervising Officer Ahmed has just found some evidence which may reveal her true intentions.
I found some emails that she has sent to different hotels and backpackers. She's telling these hotels that she's got experience in housekeeping in New Zealand, and she's travelling to Australia for 3 months, and then she'd like to look for a housekeeper job in exchange for accommodation. So to me, it sounds like so far that she may not be a genuine tourist.
Officer Laura confronts the passenger with the incriminating emails. The woman claims that she is not looking for conventional work, but for what she calls home exchange.
Tell me about home exchange. What is that?
Actually, I work 4 hours or 5 hours per day for local, so I can change free accommodation.
Is that what you were doing in New Zealand?
Yeah.
But in New Zealand you had working holiday visa?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the visa that you're holding for Australia?
Yeah, visitor visa.
One of the first conditions on that visa is no work.
Yeah, for visit.
But you're telling me here that that's your intention.
But I just want to change, but I'm not getting money.
But the condition on your visa doesn't say anything about whether you receive money. It says no work. And you're telling me here that you expect to work 4 to 5 hours a day.
A swab test has just been taken from a suitcase strongly suspected to contain a concealment of drugs. But Officer Jason is surprised by its result.
Probably not what we expected, so we'll go back and reassess the bag.
It's not a... But the passenger isn't off the hook just yet.
Positive for PETN, which is a component in glue making, which could indicate that the lining of the bag has just been re-glued.
Border Force Officer Kathy believes the test result may indicate that there is a false bottom glued into the case.
With these sort of bags, you should be able to feel your hand. There shouldn't be a cavity between the extension of the handle and the base of the bag.
The The investigation is stepped up as the bag is taken to be x-rayed. And alarm bells start ringing as the image reveals unexplained organic material hidden around the sides of the suitcase.
This is a notice of intention to consider cancelling your visa.
Cancel my visa.
This Malaysian woman is being given a final opportunity to explain why she should be allowed to enter Australia after admitting that she intends to work here illegally.
Having made all these arrangements to do the work,
absolutely,
I can't see any reason, if I allow her entry today, that she wouldn't continue with those plans that she's made.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. She will work, which means that she will breach a visa condition.
So, can you tell me any reasons why I shouldn't cancel your visa?
Because I'm thinking home exchange, not earning money. I'm a budget backpacker, so I'm choosing the home exchange to do my traveling. No earning money.
But Miss Chai, you continue to interpret working about earning money, but it's not just about earning money. There's a benefit for you. Okay, so I've made my decision and I've decided to cancel your visa. So as you no longer have a valid visa for entry to Australia, I'm detaining you under Section 189 of the Migration Act.
So if I still stay here, no go for this home exchange, can I stay here?
Well, not now because your visa is cancelled.
Why? I have no chance to see Australia.
Although she was in New Zealand and she had a working visa, that is not the same for Australia. She's got a tourist visa and the conditions are quite clear and it says in words of one syllable, no work.
It's looking more and more likely that Australian Border Force officers have located in the base of a suitcase belonging to this Italian traveller.
We've just x-rayed the bag. There's some abnormalities. However, upon touch, it's not clear what that is, so we'll have to investigate further.
I would do.
Back in the examination room, the deconstruction of the suitcase begins to gain access to whatever is inside. And officers immediately locate where the may be hidden.
In there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. It looks like there's a false bottom.
Looks like, yeah.
Where that should be the base of the bag. You can clearly see I can get my fingers down underneath the lining of the bag. There's a cavity just there. You can feel a package just underneath the false bottom.
Yep. We're going
So we'll have to rip the lining off the bottom of the bag and check what it is.
Removing the heavily glued false bottom of the case is not an easy task.
So they've got a base of another bag and cut it out so it would fit in. They've stuck it down really well.
They need to identify what the packages contain.
So what have we got? Does it look like we've got, white powder?
White powder.
All right. So it's definitely not granule, so it's definitely looking like it's white powder. So I'll put a tiny bit in there.
An indicator kit will help determine what the substance is. While at the bench, the passenger is cautioned.
Che tu fai o dice, noi lo potremo usare in la cotta.
Sì, ho capito, ma qual è il problema?
There appears to be a concealment of
Ok, quella valigia che avete qua, voi l'abbiamo visto, l'abbiamo aperto, sembra che c'è qualcosa là dentro che non deve essere là dentro. Va bene, no, tu sai qualcosa di queste?
No, io non so niente, io lo giuro pure sui miei figli, io non so niente.
Questo è il problema che abbiamo noi ora. Di questo punto ora chi dice che fai le potremo usare nella cotta.
He denies everything, but the test results are clear.
I'm looking for a nice blue, so I think I might have it. But I've got to follow the sequence all the way through, so we've got to press the second ampule. And what you're looking for is the split. And then you press the third ampule. It's giving me a presumptive indication of
It's a strong blue, indicating the purity of the... The passenger is taken to a private interview room as secondary testing is carried out on the substance. And it's another positive result.
It's one of the fastest scans I've seen in a while.
The man continues to deny he knew were in his suitcase. It's now up to the Australian Federal Police and the courts to decide if he is telling the truth.